All right, everybody. This game was sent to me by Frankenstein. He played another game against Tony 97. This time, no Elo involved, but they just wanted to play it out and help them build content for this channel. I really appreciated them doing that. But yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of a different zoom in today and see if that helps. Uh, I've had complaints that people can't see the coin costs of each of the cards and maybe don't care so much about how much the wonders are. So what we're gonna do is we're going to go through and we're gonna guess what each player is going to do at each step. So the very first thing is going to be a CURIA Julia take, I imagine, from Frankenstein. Okay. Taking CURIA, Julia, that makes sense. And then from there, I think a Divine Theater is going to be taken by Tony as well as Appian Way. Oh, first, Frankenstein going to choose a conspiracy now. Okay, and I wonder what they're going to do there. So, okay, so the conspiracy they took was the one where you can, the property fraud, taking a card for free at the back. Then Divine Theater gets taken by Tony, and Tony also taking the Appian Way. And then Frankenstein going to take the Statue of Zeus. Tony choosing a wonder. I would think the right answer is Mausoleum. And Frankenstein's going to love that because now they get Colossus. And you know how much Frankenstein loves their Colossus. They're huge fans of Colossus. Okay, well, they take Great Library, but I knew they'd end up coming around to it. And then Great Lighthouse. People don't really value Great Lighthouse as much. And now we're going to look at this zoomed in view, for at least for age 1. I think age 1, it's important to see the costs of each of the cards. So Frankenstein, the very first thing they're going to do is probably going to take. We see all of the different decree tokens out there. This one's going to be really great to take early on. I think that's what they do. We don't see very many cards that are face up, but or we don't see any yellow cards that are face up except for Tavern, which won't matter for this strategy. But taking this decree token, I would imagine, would be good. Although Frankenstein really loves their taking the press. They really like making their opponent's wonders cost more. They don't want their opponent to build Divine Theater early, and they do see this thing out there, the workshops, which is going to give them a discount in H1. So I would say I changed my mind. I'm thinking they're taking the press, but then Tony's probably going to follow up with the Conspirator to do that decree token strategy where all the reserves become free. All right, Frankenstein, let's see what you take. Oop, okay, you went the free route. All right. And then they choose to conspire. Okay, interesting. Instead of, well, of course, they've got CURIA Julia, so that makes sense. And they want to get as many little benefits as possible. And the first thing they take is, all right, they took espionage. And now was that one that they put back? So the first one they had, they put the remaining conspiracy on the bottom of the deck. So that was really key. So when they took this one, they put the other one on the bottom of the deck. Normally, players, the first conspiracies they take, of the two they take, they have one good, one bad. They keep the one good, they put the one bad on the top of the deck. Frankenstein knew they were going first in the next stage, so they said, well, perfect. I will. I don't like this bad one. I'll put it at the bottom, and hopefully I can get a second option out of it. And from two neutral options rather than this bad one that I put on the bottom, I'll be set. So that's an important thing. If you start with CURIA Julia, maybe put that one on the bottom so that you can get what you want on the top. I like that. You can get a neutral one on the top instead of one bad one and one neutral one. So there you're sitting there, and he gets a very good one. So we've talked about this before in the past. You can look at my conspiracy card tier list. Espionage is just a very powerful one. All right, so Frankenstein taking espionage, and they're probably going to end up taking theology with that, making Great Library, Colossus, and Statue of Zeus all have extra turns, making it a really high chance for a military victory. But I think the right answer for Tony now. Oh, and then Frankenstein puts that conspiracy on the top of the deck. So the one that they didn't want, they put on the top. So they may want it again, or they may want their opponent to grab a Dodo one. All right, Tony going to now take the press. but neither one wanting to do my little strategy idea of the decree token. I would have done that, but that's at my 600 level. We're looking at these higher level players at the 800 levels. Frankenstein nearly 900 level. We're seeing how they play. All right, so Tony going to take Papyrus. I'm not even a 600 level with Agora. I'm probably a 200 level with Agora. The only reason why I'm considered a Agora player is because I've played, enough games that I have a 1% win in political victory. But most of my games are science victories from Pantheon. But we're looking at this match, though. Let's focus on these two great players. Tony going to put the Phoenician god. Where do they want to place it? They're probably going to place it close to themselves. Okay, put close to themselves. Yeah, Phoenicians are good to be close to you. Greeks and Romans generally close to your opponent. And then we have a face-up yellow card. Well, if they had done my strategy, that yellow card would have been free for Frankenstein. But Frankenstein, I guess, made a better move, basically being able to take theology now. You see the progress tokens out there. Any of them that are not out there, Frankenstein can nab up. But it's Frankenstein's turn. They're probably fine spending 3 coins to take the stone reserve. I lied to you. They wanted to build a logging camp for 1 whole coin. I don't understand that move necessarily. I think potentially that is a way to make Divine Theater cost more. Maybe that's the thought. But that's just going to make Tony be able to build Divine Theater anyways, because they're going to build this stone reserve, spend 3 coins. Now they're at 3 coins now, but they're going to discard the rest of the time and get enough coins so that they can steal CURIA Julia with Divine Theater before this mythology token, the Egyptian one, gets taken, and then they have to worry about, is God out there or not? Is there a God that is Ra out in the Pantheon for H2? All right, so Tony going to construct the stone reserve because you want at least 1 yellow so that your discard rate of gaining coins is 3. All right, Frankenstein taking the clay pool. Frankenstein generally loves their resources. Tony going to build a science card for free. And maybe that was the thought, is Frankenstein said, okay, you've got the press making Divine Theater cheaper. I can't let you get the wood to make Divine Theater even more cheap. So that's why I took the wood. But that allows Tony to be able to take a Greek mythology and a science. And with that Greek mythology, like I said, you want to put those Greek mythologies close to your opponent. So makes sense there. Next move is going to be Frankenstein probably going to take that politician, I'd imagine, and maybe gamble a little bit, or what's in the middle. Maybe a little bit of a gamble there. Yeah, because you don't know what's going to pop out here, and you want to be ready for it. You don't want to have the worst of choices. And they're going to place a senator. I'm thinking in the middle and take a gamble and hope it's a good one. They did do it. They did the gamble. I guessed it right. Okay, making the gray cards cost a little bit cheaper for themselves. That's something that Tony would have really liked to have with the gray cards. The Divine Theater is going to need, and Mausoleum. Later game though. Early game, we're looking at stealing a wonder with Divine Theater. Tony going to probably choose this card, hoping that their opponent takes this one, and then they can get the coveted Tavern card. But maybe they don't want to do that. Maybe they want to just keep on with the science strategy. We'll say they do that. Let's say they grab the science card, I'm thinking. Yeah, because they already have stone, and the only reason they might want to discard it for coins. But yeah, Tony gonna take the mythology token, the Phoenician, and maybe place it again close to themselves. Maybe put it close to your opponent. They probably have ball. They put it close to themselves up there, and so that's going to be interesting. And now with those 2 options, where does Frankenstein want to place their cube? Probably want to place it up here and make the remaining 2 reserves be free for them. Frankenstein's sitting at 5 coins. Okay, I think they're going to do the move that I just said that they would do. All right, so they control 2 of 6 Senate chambers. That's pretty important. So Tony going to construct the stone pit. And I don't know why they construct the stone pit. Maybe they just want to make stone cost a lot for their opponent. Their wonders don't really cost a lot of stone. If you'll remember, Great Library costs a lot of wood, and CURIA Julia costs one of everything. So nothing really as far as like heavy stone in their opponent. And frankly, not very much for themselves, just the Appian Way, but they already had the stone reserve. I would recommend that Tony have discarded that card to get a coin, but I could be wrong. Or to get 3 coins instead of being sitting at six, 5 coins. They could have been at 9 coins, and you really need coins in this game. So I don't know why Tony did that, but I'm learning. All right, so now Tony is doing pretty good with getting wood reserve, or Frankenstein's going to be able to take wood reserve for free, but maybe they don't want to. If wood reserve had been right here, sure, take it, but they don't want to give tavern to their opponent. Maybe it's an inevitability though. Yeah, they're going to take it. They say, all right, fine. Don't want my opponent to have wood. Sure, you take the 4 coins from tavern. All right, so Tony gets those 4 coins from the tavern. And tavern being taken a huge predictor in who's going to win. All right. So next, I think Frankenstein going to, you know what? It's going to be important to take 2 blue cards eventually, but there's no more white senators. Well, this one could be white, but I'm thinking Tony, Frankenstein going to go for probably controlling more Senate chambers. Maybe they're going to take this random one. I was wrong. Frankenstein going to discard that blue card for some coins, allowing their opponent to get a science card. But their opponent wanting to make sure they're set up. When you have 2 blue cards, you're dangerous in the Senate. So they're wanting to get 2 blue cards and starting with 1. Maybe take that blue card before their opponent takes that senator on that side, but Tony not really wanting to push heavily in science right now. Frankenstein probably going to, what are they going to do? They're going to, prepare a card. Instead of taking yet another position right here, they're going to prepare a card. They could have had a third place that they could control. This one won't matter. There's only 1 more blue card in age 1, but it will matter in age 2. But instead they chose to get the property fraud. Very interesting. I would have chosen the gamble, but they want to prepare the property fraud with that card in particular. I wonder if they're thinking they were going to take the wood from the very back right there before their opponent can build the Divine Theater. So Tony's sitting at 9 coins. They're going to try to steal CURIA Julia pretty soon. All right, so Frankenstein is done. Tony now realizes if they take that stone, they're going to be able to choose what god is out there. They probably... Okay, so they take that stone. Now their opponent Frankenstein's really going to be suffering as far as coins. And I know you can't see it, but I will tell you where the god got put. Oh, now you can see it, actually. It got put close to Frankenstein. So that was likely Isis, the worst of the Egyptian gods, got put close to Frankenstein. Although Frankenstein could use Isis to take a card from the discard pile and construct a wonder with it. Doing that makes it so Mausoleum becomes less good than Mausoleum of Tony. Now Frankenstein may be going to take the clay pit. No, discarding the clay pit. Okay. They're thinking they have enough clay and they need more coins. So they're sitting at 9 coins right now. Wonder what they needed the coins for. Tony discarding the stables for 4 coins. Tony now has enough to construct Divine Theater and make it very difficult for Frankenstein. He's going to steal Frankenstein's CURIA Julia, which is just a great wonder to steal. Yep. Now Frankenstein, what are they going to do as far as Frankenstein going to... It's going to be a tough move, and I want to get this right. I think the right answer is for them to maybe use... I feel like we're about to see property fraud get used and make Divine Theater cost 2 more coins by taking the wood. Won't be enough. Maybe a forced CURIA Julia. Yep, so they're gonna build CURIA Julia to take that wood, maybe? Now who started this? Frankenstein started it. So if they use an extra turn, they will need to use another extra turn to go first. If they don't use any extra turns, the first player starts the next stage, assuming military being equal. Oh, I want to get this right, but I think they build CURIA Julia and then trigger this face down conspiracy. Let's go with that. I think we're gonna see it happen. Oh no, wait. Property fraud got built like I thought. It's not gonna be enough though. So they're going to make the opponent's wonder cost 12, and that just won't be enough. So Frankenstein realizes that they're about to lose the Divine Theater, or sorry, they're about to lose CURIA Julia. What are they gonna do? I think the next move is to build CURIA. No, they're just going to accept that they're going to lose CURIA Julia. Okay. Okay, and maybe CURIA Julia is not that useful to the opponent because their opponent doesn't have any of those conspirators or conspiracies. I thought for sure we would see theology, but maybe Frankenstein's just waiting for that to get pulled off. Tony has said in the forums of this wonderful website, Board Game Arena, that they are very fine doing a Divine Theater early game. So maybe that was a bluff in the forums to let everyone know, but yeah, I see a lot of the lower level players doing a Divine Theater early game, and yeah, as far as high level play, I think it doesn't happen, but maybe it doesn't happen because their opponent makes it cost 12 coins for them to pull it off, and that'd just be terrible losing 12 coins. I don't think Tony's gonna pull it off. I don't think they're gonna do it. I think it's a bluff. So they didn't, and they grabbed the science card. They could have taken away what appears to them to be Frankenstein's only extra turn. But, I mean, with that espionage being out there, that's enough to make it tough for Tony. That'd be 3 extra turns versus 2 extra turns at that point. Tony gonna place a Greek god on Frankenstein's side, and you know what that means. The gate is gonna be in the middle. Now, Frankenstein probably going to take, you know what, it's going to cost them 3, but they want to maybe take another plot card. Sure, why not type of thing. Yeah. They're going to build it. They're going to take a conspiracy plot. I don't see them placing a cube. Yeah, so they place a conspiracy. They're going to... Oh my goodness. Coup. Espionage and coup. Very powerful ones. And those are the unprepared ones of them. And then they also still have the property fraud, which, oh no, property fraud got triggered to make Divine Theater even more expensive. All right, so Tony going to have 11 coins. Who's going to start the next stage? When you're down to 3 cards, you need to think about this. So Tony only has 6 coins. They can't use CURIA Julia to gain an extra turn. Oh, they're going to probably trigger the espionage to be able to get an extra turn from their cheapest wonder, which is the Great Library. Don't want to build any of these. And wow, this is going to be a pretty intense situation. This making their Great Library 2 coins cheaper. Wow, okay, so Frankenstein going to place the other conspiracy on the top or the bottom, and I'll let you know. They placed it on the top, so maybe they go grab that again. Did they know that who was out there for them to grab? This is some high-level play, folks. Tony probably going to discard. They don't really have any option, and they're thinking that their opponent's going to have to discard, and that Tony will actually start the next stage. Poor Tony. So Tony's going to discard, thinking, oh, perfect. I've got 15 coins now. I'm going to start the next stage. And now we will look at the God cards from this angle, Age 2 camera. And always need to reposition this thing. So, all right. So now we're looking at these last two cards. I think Frankenstein's going to pull off a really cool move with the Great Library. No wonder Frankenstein sent me this game to look at. Espionage makes sense, okay? So Frankenstein going to... Oh wait, no, they didn't have the ability to do espionage because they never prepared the card for it. Oh, duh. Oh my goodness. Sorry, guys, I led you astray. So they're going to allow their opponent to start the next age, and they didn't even discard that science for points. Or for coins. They decided to just construct the scriptorium and possibly try to get strategy. I know they like to take strategy. Tony going to discard and go first in the next stage, and maybe have enough coins to take Ra. Only they know if Ra is at the top of the deck, because they took that Egyptian mythology token. Okay, so Tony going to start, and maybe what they want is to take Brewery from the opponent. The opponent is low on coins. It's generally good to keep your opponent low on coins. They can't afford Tanit. I think the right answer is to take Brewery. All right. I would have been surprised if they hadn't taken Brewery. All right, the next up, Frankenstein going to... We're going to take... man. I'm thinking they push in military at this point, because they have coup, and they have espionage, and so potentially they just go for an all-out Age 2 win in military. Yep, that's what's happening, folks. So we won't even need to change to the Age 3 screen where I move my camera in a different situation. My camera was down here, and then my camera is up here. We won't even have to look at it. Age 3 is not going to happen because Frankenstein's probably going to pull off this military strategy. And it sucks because their opponent doesn't even know what's about to hit them. But let's see if Tony can predict it. So if you see your opponent immediately pushing in military, it doesn't necessarily give away that they're going for coup, that they have coup. You already know that they probably are going to military because they have 2 military wonders. So at this point, Tony's probably thinking, I need to get rid of CURIA Julia from my opponent. But let's take Tanit first, maybe, or maybe use Gate to do it. Yeah, if they can use the Gate to pull it off. That's going to cost 4, but that would be really bad if their opponent grabbed it. Maybe they just discard this one for coins. Construct a Wonder with it, maybe? Construct a Wonder with Custom House, maybe that's the right move. But they're sitting at 25 coins. Tony's doing great on coins. Maybe they use this to get maybe the Great Lighthouse. They're really suffering in brown resources, so that would be my guess. Is spend 6 coins to get the Great Lighthouse so you don't bleed out any more coins. No, they're just going to take a blue and force the opponent to have to be careful with the Senate, because now Tony's dangerous. When you have 2 blue cards, you're dangerous. When you have 4 blue cards, you're really dangerous with the Senate. So this free politician, is going to be worth a lot. That was a good move on Tony because now they're forcing Frankenstein into, oh, I wanted to have the discount on gray and make all the gray cards be costing only 1 coin. Oh, wait, with the combination of this thing, make all the gray cards be free, gray resources be free. But I have to stop my opponent from pushing in the Senate. Well, let's see if Frankenstein does that or not. They may use this, and then they'll have a 4 offering token. That's the biggest offering token. That might help them get to where they need to be with the gate, or maybe even taking Tanit. But Tony has such a huge advantage with coins with the Pantheon. I think. Oh, I didn't predict that. So Frankenstein's saying, nope, I need this. Make all of my wonders cost cheaper. So now we're looking at CURIA Julia's down to 6 coins. Great Library at 3 coins. Alrighty. Revealing a science card for Frankenstein. We knew that one was there. Why didn't I analyze that? So now Frankenstein gonna force Tony into taking that one. They have to take that. But sure, take it. Even though it costs 6 coins, they only need 1 more science afterwards to get to a science victory. They could use Divine Theater to get to that. They could even take this card that's been discarded, the Apothecary, with Mausoleum. I think that's a great move from them. They should just build it and just let Frankenstein discard this one, get the -4 offering token, but see what good card comes from those. So still good on for Tony. They're going to build that. And then it's going to really come down to science versus a military game, which is exciting. All right, so Tony going to score 2 points with that. Yes, okay. Frankenstein discarding. And now Tony gets a choice between good and better, potentially. Okay, so yeah. They could choose to... They might allow their opponent to be dangerous at the Senate, in favor of getting the dispensary and making themselves get strategy, which could be a very useful thing for them. So they're going to probably take strategy, I would guess. And if Frankenstein does build this temple to try to become dangerous in the Senate, might not get pulled off. So Tony with strategy. I don't think we've seen a game yet on this channel where Tony has had strategy. I could be wrong, but all right. So Tony's got strategy, and now it's back to Frankenstein's turn. They have the coins though to take almost whatever they want, and they choose Isis with the offering token, and they're probably going to bury this science card before their opponent has any chance to take it. And that makes sense, like burying the science card. But underneath what? Are they going to bury CURIA Julia with that? Probably. That's going to give them an extra turn. Maybe they bury Statue of Zeus and kill off a stone of their opponent? Because right now, everything that costs stone is just so expensive for Frankenstein. I could see that happening. I'm going to bet that that's the move. And then that's going to also give them a... Nope. They did that with CURIA Julia. Maybe they want to eventually get Gate and take Isis to allow them to have an extra turn with CURIA Julia. But I'm thinking this is going to be the one that they trigger Espionage. Oh, duh. Of course you do CURIA Julia first, because you need to make Espionage make the Statue of Zeus have an extra turn. That is the right move. And if I was in Frankenstein's shoes, I definitely would have done that one and not the move that I suggested to get rid of the stone. Alrighty. Okay, so I hope I would be able to have seen that hey, I need extra turns. Yeah, don't forfeit an extra turn. So here we see Theology going to get taken with Espionage. Although I have used Espionage to take strategy early game, and that was exciting. So now we have a strategy token versus Theology token game, and it's game on. All right, so Frankenstein has another turn, and what they're going to do is they're going to take the Great Library, get another token of their choice. What are they going to pick from the box? Economy. Ooh. So that will give them a bunch of coins from every time their opponent spends wood. And a good gauge is how to find out how many coins you get from your opponent is to look at your opponent's wonders, their top 3 coin costing wonders, and see how many coins you'll probably get before the end of the game. Things could change, your opponent could get discounts, but that's a good estimation for how many coins you'll get by the end of the game. So we can predict that that's a huge number. So Mausoleum, 10 coins, Divine Theater, 12 coins, Appian Way, 6 coins. Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep like a running total for how many coins he's gonna take. And I'm serious. I'll get out my notepad right now and start writing how many coins. I should probably do a notepad on this computer so that you all can see it. But yeah, it may be interesting to see. But once again, Frankenstein goes yet again. They're not afraid to use all their extra turns at this point and get all the benefits they need. All right, so let's do a whole new notepad here. I want to take some old notepad and let's go. Okay, so coins from economy. Let's see how useful this is going to be for Frankenstein. Okay. All right. So we are back in. Let's see. So Frankenstein going to activate Tanit for 7 coins, getting 12 coins. Now the coins are a little closer. Tony with 19, Frankenstein with 13. They got themselves out of a tough spot, but they knew they had that trick up their sleeve, and they still have coup. So that's going to be useful. Tony going to say, okay, hold on, I need to activate Gate before I miss out on taking all of your good wonders. And I'd imagine Gate has Raw in it. Yep. So we take Raw and take away, I think, Colossus, or it could be Statue of Zeus. Thinking Statue of Zeus to try to do the economy play and then take Ball right afterwards. Nope, you're going to take Colossus because they're afraid of losing in military. Or maybe they're thinking they're going to start pushing in military and use the strategy token to their benefit. Even though it can't combo with Colossus, it could combo with other things. But Frankenstein going to be able to use Ball now to take a card from Frankenstein before they get their card taken away. That's just going to be 8 coins to pull that off, but it's going to give them dividends with the economy, so that's the right move, I feel. Yeah, I think that would be the right move. Although they don't want their opponent to get architecture and make them lose out on a bunch of coins, so that's not the move, obviously. The move is to deny them from taking architecture. Maybe they build the laboratory for 2 coins for 1 point. Or maybe they discard it. Or maybe they prepare coup with it. Let's see, I'm thinking they're going to prepare coup. Now, what surprised me is they didn't get rid of this card. Why is this card still there from the discard pile? I guess Frankenstein left it there for some reason. Yeah, so Frankenstein used a politician. They used ISIS and grabbed a politician card instead of the science card that Tony might have needed. That was pretty interesting. Tony still could pull off a science victory because of that blunder, or my perceived what it would have been a blunder. All right, Frankenstein is activating Ball instead of stopping the opponent from getting Laboratory. Well, hopefully it works out for them, but yeah, Architecture would have paid off maybe. So Frankenstein gonna take a gray card, making the Divine Theater way too expensive to ever afford. But It doesn't matter now. Tony has what it takes to make pay 8 whole coins to Frankenstein. Maybe Frankenstein was excited about getting those 8 coins, so that they can afford architecture. That's necessary. I thought they would try to deny architecture, but it looks like they went for the ball move that I originally thought they would do. And I guess it gave them 8 coins initially, and maybe that's all they needed was get those 8 coins back. They definitely didn't want to get balled themselves, because then that hurts their economy. But now that the opponent has architecture, it was a toss up, But let's just write that down. How many coins we're sitting at? So yeah, so coins from economy, we're sitting at 8 coins so far, and then we continue on. So all right. Frankenstein going to take the Senator Conspirator for 4 coins. And are they going to take another card from the... They're going to choose to conspire yet again. Wow, just tons of conspiring. Ooh, they got one that's really good for winning politics. So the political maneuver one for a political win. Espionage, they've triggered already. And then the coup conspiracy, that's going to be useful if they do pull off a military win. But with less wonders, I think it's tougher now that they only really have 1 extra turn left. And Tony, I would imagine, is really happy that they could pull off a science win very easily. I would love to be in Tony's shoes right now. I mean, this is delicious to me if I'm Tony. And I just push enough in military and control the game so that I can take that science card from the discard pile with Mausoleum. All right, so Tony going to discard the building rostrum for 5 coins. I'm going to get that, probably that right senator from Frankenstein. I'm going to try to pull off a Senate win, potentially. I think 5 coins is worth it. And maybe that they try the new section. And if that's a military section, no, they didn't want to try to do the military one. Could have been a military shield and given them another token, another cube out there. But instead, no, they wanted to make it so they'll get coins every time they take these blue cards. So getting 2 coins on Frankenstein's next turn, unless Tony can have something to do about it. Tony's going to discard that to make that not happen. And now Frankenstein going to have their choice. Maybe they make the papyrus cost even more for Tony. And they build... Nope, they're going to build the glass. Okay. Well, still, that makes the mausoleum harder to build. And the Colossus harder to build. But Frankenstein really loving economy as a token and using it to their advantage. But Tony has 11 coins. Are they going to spend 10 of it on a science card? I think they discard the science card and then hope to eventually build it with Mausoleum, because right now is not a good point for science, but maybe they leave it out there. They leave it there, and then they're going to take the papyrus. Oh my goodness, wow. I mean, they could have had access to that with Mausoleum anyways. I wonder what the thought was in doing that. Well, it doesn't matter, I guess. I think maybe they're thinking they could use Zeus to discard a different card. And then, so they're like, okay, I'm at 4 science. I'm good here. I'll just discard the rest of the game. And they're going a heavy yellow, heavy green strategy, which is a very valid strategy in the Pantheon expansion. I just wonder with this expansion, they're borrowing things from just the Pantheon expansion. But we knew that would happen. Frankenstein making everything cost so expensive now. Taking that clay. I thought that they would for sure have taken the drawing room first, and if it was still there, they would take it and then suffer the consequences with that clay. But maybe now Tony thinking, all right, I needed to take that science card. It's not going to matter, though, because Zeus is going to be taken by Frankenstein before age 3 starts. Frankenstein really getting a lot of use out of all of these now every single their wood reserve is basically useless. Oh, we forgot to write down. Tony gave 10 more coins, so yeah, Tony gives 10 more coins to their opponent. Hope I didn't miss any. All right, so then we're moving on. Constructing the lighthouse or the Great Lighthouse for free. Guess that is somehow free for them. Why was the Great Lighthouse free? Can anybody see how the Great Lighthouse was free? Huh. Yeah, I don't know how the Great Lighthouse was free. It should have been very expensive. Does Tony somehow have a wood? Oh, duh. They have the architecture. Okay. So now that's going to make all the rest of their wonders very much cheaper. And that's the thing with economy is when you're facing somebody who has the Great Lighthouse, they really can benefit from the Great Lighthouse, and then it starts becoming a valid strategy to build the Great Lighthouse early. So you kind of uh, force them to do something they wouldn't maybe normally do, and Great Lighthouse becomes a shield against the economy. So, but yeah, now Tony went from like 25 coins down to only 1 coin because they spent so much as far as coins for science, 8 and then 10. I'll do that. I'm fine doing that. Frankenstein, going to bluff maybe that they have the conspiracy that can destroy uh, a reserve, but right now having the stone is not going to make Tony cost any more for stone things than they already need to spend. However, it is nice to have 2 stone going into the next stage because then you can win points, and Frankenstein wants to make sure that they win in points at least. Even though points wise, we're sitting at 18 versus 18 versus 7. All right, so Tony going to push in military, and this time it'll be free for them. Building the walls, I would imagine. That opening up something for Frankenstein. Maybe Frankenstein going to build the senator for 6 whole coins. I don't know. Yeah, they're gonna do it, and they're gonna put it right in the middle there. They're waiting for their opponent to get a single senator out there, a single cube, and then they're going to destroy that cube. Maybe that's what ends up happening. So Frankenstein going to. I mean, Tony still has 1 extra turn. Frankenstein still has 1 extra turn. We're tied in extra turns. Frankenstein, let's see. Yeah, they put it right there, making it so when wonders are created, they are going to give 2 or even 3 coins if it's H3 to Frankenstein. Okay, so Tony says, I need some coins, discarding the horse breeders, getting 5 coins out of it. And now Frankenstein going to. They can't afford this one. Maybe they just discard it, or they're going to discard this yellow card. They don't want their opponent to have that effect. Or they'll build it themselves. Make it so they get more coins for each discard. But that may just save them 1 coin. Yeah. That's not saving them anything. This thing was free regardless. Well, whatever. Extra coins for the couple more times they discard in the game. Oh, maybe they didn't want it to be in the discard pile because they're really trying to stop like a mausoleum from using from getting any advantage. Okay, so but I mean it's okay. Like Tony's found a way out of it with architecture between architecture and the Great Lighthouse. They're sitting just fine um, as far as battling the economy, which you have to battle the economy. You don't want to give your opponent a bunch of coins. They'll win in a different strategy other than points, but at the very least, you'll bleed out points and give them points with economy. All right, so Tony, going to put a single cube out there. They was free, but now you know what Frankenstein's going to do. Frankenstein's going to pull off this conspiracy. Conspiracies are powerful in this Agora expansion. Frankenstein losing in military now. I'm going to choose who goes first. Unfortunately, Tony is going to have a little bit of a struggle. They're not going to be able to go first, and they're going to lose out on the academy. And maybe Frankenstein builds the academy because they're hoping to get the 3 points from the academy. Plus, they're hoping to get urbanism, potentially. From the study, if they end up getting to build that. Now, Tony maybe wanted to contain the situation and saying, okay, I think I'm in a points lead. I'm at 18. Let's just take the Grand Temple. It's free for both of us. What? Tony gonna discard for coins? Okay, so what they're thinking is I need one single more science. And I can get one from Divine Theater with Ishtar. Very common to grab that in the Pantheon expansion. Yeah, so they're thinking they are going to win in science. Frankenstein at their mercy now. Ooh. And if they discard it with Zeus, that doesn't help. Because Tony was smart and they saved Mausoleum and spent a whole 10 coins back in the day. Wow. So, yeah, there's that. So far we're sitting at 18 coins given away from Tony's economy. They're mainly just discarding cards. Tony's thinking, I'm going to win in science or bust. It's not going to be coming down to points. Okay, an extra turn from Frankenstein? Why? Why would Frankenstein do that? I think Frankenstein is realizing it's the end of the game anyways. They're going to lose anyways. They got an extra turn with that progress token. They push in military. But, oh, they were trying to go for a military push. If they had used this and then gotten a 3 military, they could have gotten one more cube out there and then triggered this political maneuver. Unfortunately, Tony is not going to let that happen. They're going to get this science card as their last turn. But their first turn, they're going to... Ooh. So Frankenstein gets another turn. What are they going to do with it? Okay, they're going to allow their opponent to get that science card? I don't understand it. Yeah, they're going to allow their opponent to get that science card with the hopes that this card is what they need to be able to pull off a political maneuver and end the game right now. All right. So Tony's saying, "All right, perfect, I'll build it." No, they're not going to build it. They're thinking you've got a political maneuver that you're trying to pull off. I'm going to lose my only chance of winning in in wow, lose my only chance in winning in science to stop you from killing me. Wow, that is just insane. Okay, so they're going to probably put a cube out there because they can sense that was about to happen. Ooh, that's some pretty crazy plays there. Okay, so yeah, so Tony going to place that influence cube. Where are they going to put it? All right, so really double down on the blue cards. Frankenstein could trigger this one at any moment. Maybe they try to use that conspiracy card. Either conspiracy card. Okay, they're going to use Zeus to try to discard a random card. but not a face down card, because they don't want their opponent to use Mausoleum on a face down card. It won't be random. They'll probably calculate it out. Yeah, they're going to calculate it so that this will be taken, and then this will be taken. Then it'll come back to Tony's turn. And then Tony's going to be in an issue there. A crisis. Okay, so this is in the discard pile, this Phoenician Grand Temple. I wonder if that ends up getting built with Mausoleum and it comes down to points. Because right now, Tony's at a point advantage. Frankenstein looking at the gods, and when you get to that stalemate of I don't want to draw any cards, you start needing to take into account how many god cards there are. And that becomes important. Alright, so next up, Frankenstein getting 9 whole points, and now we're tied up, 21 to 22. And Frankenstein made Tony have to reveal for him. And if it's a 3 military, Frankenstein could win this. Wow. Tony was able to use that extra military, but it actually hurt them having strategy because it made it go 1 down, and then at the start of this age, Frankenstein was able to pick the 6 coin, or use the 6 coin science card to pair a conspiracy with. Yeah, that's just sad how that works sometimes. Now, Frankenstein gets to push in a 3 military. They were so close at losing in science, but they could have pulled off a political maneuver. Now they're going to really make sure a political maneuver. And let me guess where they're going to put it. I think they're going to put it right here. Nope, that's not the move. This move. This move. Yes. Okay. Cool. It's cool that you can try to guess what their moves are by clicking. It does slow the game down a bit, but I can try to guess if you want me to for future things and actually click and show you that I was wrong. But yeah, so next, all right, Frankenstein's placed their cube in Senate Chamber 6, and now they only need 1 more senator to pull off something great. And maybe at this point, Frankenstein is worried about this political maneuver getting pulled off. And maybe they sacrifice winning in science by playing Divine Theater and pulling off Neptune. That may keep them in this game and could help them win. Alright, they just paid 3 coins to do just that. So they are afraid of losing in politics. So imagine if Frankenstein was bluffing when they made it so easy for Tony to have taken that science card. And then, yeah, and Tony had just gotten scared. But Tony called it correctly. So, alright, Frankenstein got 3 coins also because of the current age of building the wonder. So Frankenstein at 12 coins and 22 points. Tony at 15 coins and 21 points. Each of them has 5 endgame bonus points from either military or this divine, this Grand Temple. And now I'm thinking Tony going to probably use Neptune to protect themselves. They're going to crush this token and this token. Maybe this token and this token, yeah. Oh, Anubis. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. They're going to use Anubis. Oh, wow. They're using Anubis to put that science card back out there. That's tricky. Ooh. Okay, so they still have a chance to get a science card from that. And what's nice is now they have another extra turn, which is free. Even though they're going to give their opponent some coins for it. But now Frankenstein gets to make their move. I mean, Tony chose the wonder that they wanted to, or the god they wanted, and they chose Anubis without knowing what would come face up. And face up now is the that military card. So maybe they're thinking one of these two cards is the science they need. Why not just directly grab Ishtar? Oh, it's because they wanted more control of the pyramid. Yeah, and this allows them to have more control and potentially grabbing the last science they need. Okay, so Frankenstein constructing the circus, of course, and pushing in military yet again. You see that all the time. The person who grabs strategy out of not wanting to lose in military ends up not grabbing any military cards and still ends up getting hacked away at military. And the one strategy thing that it shield that strategy did give was actually a curse for Tony instead of a benefit. Tony would have won the game right now if they had not taken strategy. If they had taken anything else, taken engineering, they would have won the game by now. It's just so sad how that happens. Right? Am I wrong in this? No, they would have had the first turn in the next stage, in this stage, and taken that, and yeah, it's very unfortunate for Tony. All right, so then Tony going to use an extra turn. Ah, okay, and then make sure that they don't lose politically. Take this one. Now I wonder. Frankenstein didn't miss out, right? Frankenstein would have triggered the political maneuver if they could have won. Kill this one, add one, move one, wouldn't have made them win the game. They needed this one. They also need a military win. They're not going to be able to pull that off. Wow. Placing a cube out there. Just to place a cube. Yeah, points for building, or coins for building wonders is a little bit tougher now for Frankenstein. All right. And then now, yeah, so Tony just placed two cubes out there to get some more coins now. Frankenstein using the political maneuver conspiracy to push in that one, making it so they get more coins from points. But now it's going to come down to that last science card. Like, is it going to come down to points or science for Tony? Yeah, so every blue card costs way too many points for Tony, so they need to win in science, or they probably gonna lose. Frankenstein. So just with that move, got control of number 5, gives up control of Senate Chamber 4, and ties up Senate Chamber 3. Now Frankenstein going to get 3 coins, and we're going to see if that science card is out there for Tony. So Tony planned this out. Wow! They are going to build Mausoleum. A little early, I would say, to build Mausoleum, but so 3 coins. Why not wait? Why not wait and see if it's going to come down to points or not? Because they're obviously building that science card with the Mausoleum. Okay, so there's that. And next, Tony, that's their move right there. Take the science card they need. But why not save it? Why not? They could have transferred it into a 7-point Grand Temple potentially. But maybe they're thinking that they couldn't win if their opponent got a military. So it's going to be Frankenstein reveals this one, then Frankenstein reveals this one. No, I think even if this is a middle politician that's only going to be 2 cubes, yeah, maybe wait on Mausoleum, Tony. That's what I would think Tony should have done, is wait. But I'm sitting here calling it from the crowd, but Really, like when you're in the heat of battle, you don't know what's going to happen. There's one more science card that's needed. We could see our first science win between these two on this channel. Um, so Frankenstein gets 3 coins because there's a blue building constructed and they control Senate Chamber 5. Now the points have kind of switched. We see 13 coins, 28 points for Tony, and then down below, 24 coins, 33 points for Frankenstein. It would seem that the tides have turned, and points-wise, each player is going to get 5 points at the end of the game, so those cancel out, and it comes down to Frankenstein winning. Yeah, economy, such a great, huge uh, bonus that it can turn the tide in Age 3 if you're coming down to points. All right, so Tony's built all their wonders, so maybe they took that into calculation of why they wanted to construct Mausoleum, is they wanted 2 extra coins from the arena. Now it makes sense why they built Mausoleum. Okay, I give it to you, Tony. Those 2 extra coins might matter. All right, so moment of truth. What's it gonna be? Frankenstein going to prepare their coup, and the last science that Tony needed isn't out there. So building from the they could have built a 6-point card. They could have built a 7-point card. They could have transformed the next one they got into a 9-point card. But nope, they forfeited a bunch of points there. So I think we should keep track of that. So Tony points forfeited with science. So we're not going to count the points for Mausoleum, but so they could have gotten 6 points, but let's subtract 3 from that because this thing gives 3 points anyways. And we're sitting at, they forfeited 3 whole points. All right. No. They could have grabbed a 7-point card, we said, which could have turned into a 9-point card. So 7 or 9, take your pick. And that equals maybe, yeah, maybe they lost 4 or 6 points with that move. Okay. So yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. But I think they lost 4 points doing that. And if they lose by 4 points in the end, they are going to be really sad about that. But Tony's turn, you know what? They need to push in military, so I think that's a build right there. Or a discard. No, that's a build. Okay, so that's going to give Frankenstein some 3 coins, because that's an H3 one. But they gained 3 points in that 5 down to only 2 points in military for Frankenstein. A gain of 3 for Tony, even though they lost some coins. Frankenstein just going to discard that conspirator for 6 coins. They don't care. They pulled off everything except for coup. Yeah. They should have tried to pull off coup. Well, Tony going to make it come down to points at the end. Take that Grand Temple. So yeah, they would have gotten 9 points for that temple, but instead they only grabbed. They only were able to get 7 points for that temple. Okay, we'll see. And then the coup used by Frankenstein, they were hoping they could pull off something big. So the Senate points are going to come down to 2 points for Frankenstein, 4 points for Frankenstein as far as Senator ending. Makes me wonder why Frankenstein discarded that conspirator. Oh, they needed the coins for it. That would have been too expensive to buy anyways. All right, coming down to points. And wow, Frankenstein, 55 points. Tony really needed that science. So it wouldn't have mattered all this math with Tony trying to get more bang for their buck with building a grand temple. Even if they had 6 more points, it wouldn't have been enough. They ended up giving a lot of points away. or coins away. So a total of 24 coins, which amounts to what, 8 points? 8 points they bled off in their economy to Frankenstein. So they gave away 8 points. So if Tony had 8 more points and Frankenstein had 8 less points, you can already see that would have made the difference. But so yeah, it ended up coming down to science at the end. And what an exciting game, folks! That was really cool. I'm glad I was able to watch that through with you all. Kind of a long form. Much rather just click play and go and to be more active, but I liked being able to just sit and talk through everything. Very exciting. Anyways, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.